welcome back to the Waterboyz podcast. We're on episode 17, and I know what you're probably thinking. Why is there a special guest here? Sydney Lyndon joined us for an interview today as well, but she's also doing the intro with us because she has sat behind the camera for a long time now. She's our production, agent, whatever. Assistant, yeah. Anyway, she has had enough of Grant's hot takes
on the Ottawa Senators.
And how America is better than Canada in hockey.
Oh my gosh.
Now, there are two things that she has made comments at you about.
Yeah. We've had to cut this out of the podcast, so we'll finally let it in.
We'll start with your Ottawa.
All I'm saying is it was a bold take to say Matthews is going to score 3. Toronto should have slapped Ottawa, but they didn't. They only won in OT, and Matthews didn't score any goals. He's still, sitting at 58?
Yeah.
That was surprising, to be honest. Matthews not going off on the tear there. But
I was looking forward to this game.
You can't defend Ottawa now after losing to the Kraken 4-2.
Valid. Very valid.
What's next? You got to lose to Montreal and Arizona next?
Montreal!
You haven't been able to lose. You haven't been able to put a respective name on the Senators since their 2017 conference finals run. And that's when Sydney stopped becoming a Senators fan. So
she's traded and thought it was over.
She's not even loyal to the team. So I don't even know what to think about it. She's just fired up because Matthews didn't even score a goal. And he's not even playing right now.
He is out right now.
So who knows why? They're probably doing what Tampa Bay is gonna do. Just send him out until playoffs.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Just why don't you get some rest there?
I don't know if Matthews is wanting to be out. It's undisclosed, so we don't know. Now, if he doesn't hit 60, I'd be pissed if he's just being told. If he's being told to sit out,
that's a bust.
Getting
he's
2 goals away from.
Yeah, like Steven Stamkos talked about. If you get to 59, in the season that he scored 60, he was at 59 for a little bit. And he was stressing because
his minutes skyrocketed when he was at 59.
If you don't get the 60, it feels like a bust.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're that close to it, then it's a bust of a season, in theoretical terms.
Well, yeah, if you get
it's almost like you spent your whole season scoring that many goals and not get one more.
If you get above 40 goals in the NHL in a season, you are a fantastic hockey player. I don't think 60, getting 59 is a bust of a season.
No, but you're just so close to 60 as a player. You're
Before we get to the current topics, the other debate that Sydney was fired up about, and she was extremely
I was mad at him for not defending Canada.
Okay, she was extremely fired up at this guy.
Yeah, but what started it all is me saying America is better at sports.
And it was because he said, okay, we have to explain why. The 2015 Chicago Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup, and the 2010 and the 2013. Now, most of those players on the team are Canadian. And he is claiming that because it's an American team, that America is great. Now, she is claiming...
Okay. That got real close to a red hat statement.
Yeah.
America is not great. American sports are far better than Canadian, though.
Yeah, because you guys have the money to spend on the Canadian players.
Oh, so we're better.
No.
We got the money.
No, you're better. No, you have the money. No, but you have the money to spend on Canadian players. Why aren't you spending it on your American players? All right, that's because we're better, so you're going to give us the money.
Where's Austin Matthews from?
He's from Arizona.
Oh, and what country is Arizona in?
The U.S.
You see
so the top goal scorer in the NHL right now is from the U.S.
Yeah, but we're talking about Chicago here. You're Chicago.
If you matched up the 2022 Olympic rosters, who wins?
Oh, Canada. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's my point.
Well,
that's my point.
American teams in the NHL, where this all started. American teams in the NHL, far better than Canadian teams.
Only because they're made up of Canadian players.
And only because there's only 7 or 8 Canadian teams, so the odds of them winning a cup Not that high compared to the U.S., who have like 23 teams.
Forget the odds.
Or
You haven't
25.
won. A Canadian team hasn't won a cup in more than 20 years.
But a lot of
Yeah.
Canadian players have.
Yeah, a lot
Okay.
of Canadian players.
Congratulations to the players. Congratulations to the players. Congratulations to their nationality. That's awesome. But the Canadians, the Leafs, 2 Alberta teams, Vancouver, you got Ottawa. Justin, why aren't Canadian teams winning the cups, man? Sydney, why aren't Canadian teams winning the cups? You got great teams. You got great teams.
We don't have great teams. Like
the Leafs
Montreal
choke every
sucks.
year.
Yes, well, this year Montreal was terrible.
But said
3-4 years ago,
Not
Montreal were
competitive.
contenders.
Well, last year they went
Last
to the
year they
Stanley
were
Cup
contenders.
Finals. Yeah. No, okay. The Leafs, they just blow it every
Yeah,
year.
Leafs just blow it.
That's a given.
Leafs
Yeah.
on paper should have won the Stanley Cup. Like,
Yeah, they should win this year.
You know what the Leafs remind me of? The Kansas City Chiefs 4 years ago. Just
Getting
hopeful
Hot take.
contenders, haven't won one since the 50s and 60s.
getting beaten down by Tom Brady.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
That's what it is.
But you know, they're
Tom
coming
Brady,
back.
the GOAT.
If you're going to defend your Canadian teams, you got to defend Toronto.
Like,
That's
no,
a Canadian
like,
staple.
okay, we have a good
Yeah,
shot.
but that's
We have a
why we
good
don't like
shot.
them.
A Canadian team has a good shot this year. Showed it to Kyle Wilson. His Calgary Flames.
Yes.
They do have a shot this year, and we're looking and we're hoping
And
that.
they're leaning on Kachuk like a concrete frame.
No, we got Johnny Hockey, but you know what? Guess what? He's American, so you do have one player that is actually
The superstars
decent.
are American.
No, they're not.
Kaner.
Like, okay, so you have Connor McDavid, John Tavares, Matthew Barzal,
Yeah. Great players. Great
Mitch
players.
Marner.
Nick's is
Austin Matthews.
You have like 3 superstar players. That's it. We have like
Crosby.
12. Sidney
Brad
Crosby,
Marchand.
Brad Marchand.
Nathan
Thank
McKinnon.
you, Nathan McKinnon. Like, where does your players stack up to Nathan McKinnon? You know, this like what lineup
And the
would
goal
you
race.
have?
Let's go to the goal race here. And Austin Matthews on top of all of them.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
He can't take his team past the
You-
first
you
round.
can't, like, what's he done in the playoffs?
Yeah, nothing.
Well,
So you can get
what-
60 goals all you want in the regular season until you make it through the first round. You ain't proven nothing yet.
okay. Well,
I just hope. Well, anyway.
the dust is settled. Canadians are great players, but as a team, American teams.
Yeah,
all
so
the way.
we'll just leave it at that for the American
US.
Canadian
Hey.
debate.
And speaking of the American-Canadian debate, the 76ers and Toronto Raptors. 76ers all the way here. And you want to know why, Justin? You want to know why? Because I was right about the 76ers offense.
You know what?
It was a bold claim, yet
No.
it was correct.
You're not. The only reason.
Joel Embiid,
Okay.
Tyrese,
We'll give
both
you-
gotten over 30 points.
We'll give you game 1 and 2. Actually, I'll give you game 1. Game 2 was because of injuries.
Still, we beat y'all by 20 plus points.
Okay.
There were points where we were in the lead by like 25 points.
But you put Scotty Barnes back in the game. You give Gary Trent an actual chance to make some baskets, and Sid's gonna relay this too. I just think Toronto's gonna put up a fight. This series is not over.
Canadian team's resilient.
I think
Congratulations, too.
I think that
How many Americans you got on that team?
basically everyone. That's
Goes
what-
both ways.
That's what. Yeah, it's
I'm not
it's
talking
write-off.
basketball. With
It's a write-off. But in terms of this series, I don't think it's a write-off. Shaq's words are not guaranteed yet. I do think Nick Nurse is a great coach.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to find a way to make adjustments.
He's a great coach.
Even-
But on the court, listen, who cares about... Let's set aside players out for a minute. Let's go on the court and just talk about Fred VanVleet fouling out. That never happens. And he's doing that. If you're short on your bench, why are you fouling out? Exactly.
You have to stand up, and well, if you get into foul trouble, like Scotty Barnes would take some of those fouls away.
Yeah.
But like Fred VanVleet's gonna have to play the way he's gonna have to play in order to help the team win. And you know
Okay,
what?
then he's gotta play his game.
The
And-
shots.
His game is not fouling out.
Trent Jr. scored how many points last night? Zero, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And he only played 10 minutes. Now, I know he was injured and he was doubtful for game 2.
Yeah.
But game 1, he was pretty shitty too. Like, no offense, but like, Gary Trent needs to step up if we have any shot at winning this. No, like, calling it is what it is. Like, he just needs to do it. Fred VanVleet needs to step up too. And Siakam, he needs to play better.
Yeah.
But that's why we're going to go home to Canada. The best environment in the NBA.
Yeah.
And they're going to show out like they always do in Toronto.
Yeah.
And you cannot tell me there's no better crowd in the NBA than Toronto's.
That's a great crowd. And I'll be honest, Philadelphia is going to face some vaccination trouble over the border.
Yeah.
They're going to miss a few players. So Toronto and Philly will be down players.
Kind of weird.
If you have a shot, this is it, Justin.
Talk about a shot.
You need to tie the series here.
Talk about a shot. They got one shot, but not the second shot. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
I understand if you want to be unvaccinated, but if you got one shot, why didn't you get the second shot?
Yeah.
Just so then you could go play your NBA basketball. Like, I don't know.
You know what's better than 1 egg on toast? 2 eggs on toast.
Yeah.
3 eggs on toast. That's where it's at.
So, I mean, we had that series, and that's it's not over yet, folks. But we do have a very interesting series that the Utah Jazz should be embarrassed
Against the
about.
Mavericks, yeah.
Because the Dallas Mavericks don't have Luka Doncic, and they're still in this series, tied it up 1-1.
Yeah.
Last night, unbelievable performance from Jalen Brunson.
Oh, yes. What, 48 points?
41.
41 points. Yeah, that is incredible.
He stepped up.
That's GOAT status.
He stepped up like Fred VanVleet needs to step up. Basically.
Well, he shouldn't step up too much, else he'll catch one of the charge calls. But anyway. I'll lay off Toronto here.
Yeah, I think you need to lay off the Canadian debate. You know, she'll get fired up over there.
Yeah.
But Utah should be very disappointed with themselves. They could have took a 2-0 series lead without Luka in the Mavericks lineup, and they lost. I don't know whose fault you can really put this on. I think it was just team
Defense
effort.
on Utah's part, to be honest.
Like, how do you let Jalen Brunson go for 41? I don't know how, but they did it.
Well, Jalen's a great player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, letting Dallas go that far against you for all 4 quarters, and they kept it close too, but that was just because of Utah's offense.
Mm-hmm.
Utah's defense, how are you allowing so many players to get above 20 points, let alone 41?
Really, though? I mean, Dallas definitely deserved to win last night, but I think this series is over. I really do. I think this series is over because once they get Luka back, I don't think Utah stands a chance.
I think they missed their opportunity.
I think 6 games.
I think Utah missed their opportunity.
Yeah, because what are they gonna do now?
Dallas in 6. It's not over.
No.
I think it's over. I think this.
But the second Luka comes back, it's definitely.
Yeah.
I
And
think,
they'll get him back soon here.
yeah, like
Either game 3 or game 4.
Game 3 or game 4, and I think after that you basically wrap this series up and you send Dallas Mavericks to the Western Conference Finals, or not Western Conference Finals, Western Conference Semifinals.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big step for this Dallas team, but like, there's no one on you. Like, Donovan Mitchell's not playing like Donovan Mitchell right now, so I don't know.
Well, in terms of, debate here, I will eat my words on the Chicago Bulls. That was slightly embarrassing.
What did DeMar DeRozan do?
Nothing.
He had 18 points, shot 6 from 25 from the field.
Yeah.
In his playoff debut for the Bulls. Now, what did I tell you before the playoffs started?
Yeah.
Why did we trade DeMar DeRozan from the Raptors?
Yeah, because April is a tough time for DeRozan.
People.
Simple.
It's facts.
Yeah.
He can't perform. I don't know why.
Okay.
I like the guy. I really like the guy.
Let's lay off DeMar DeRozan because Milwaukee is an incredible team this year.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They're looking to repeat.
All right, still, that's...
I just think that this has to be laid on DeMar DeRozan.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It's on Milwaukee being a great basketball
No, it
team.
doesn't. It's because DeMar DeRozan had an MVP type season, and then he just blew it in the playoffs.
He's not... He didn't blow it all the way. That was a game one.
Game one, but
Yeah.
so far,
You're basing 7 off of 1.
if this is the way it's going to look for all 7, Bulls are getting
It's
slapped.
not going to be 7. Yeah. But it's because of the Bucks, man. Not because of the Bulls players.
I don't think there's
I'm
any
just saying
better.
your superstars need to step up.
I
Like,
don't
we saw
think-
that with Kawhi.
I don't think
we
there's
see that
any
with
better.
Curry. We see that with LeBron.
I don't think
If
there's
DeMar
any
wants
better.
to be in that conversation, he needs to step up.
And I don't
regardless.
think there's any better player than Giannis.
No.
Like, Giannis is...
Greek God.
And Shaq had a really good, interesting video. He said, someone asked him, do you think you could play in today's game? And he
I'll
said...
be honest.
And he said, yeah, I am right now. What do you guys mean?
Yeah.
I'm the Greek freak.
Yeah.
You're looking at me. I'm literally playing in today's game, the most dominant player in the game, and he's putting up incredible numbers.
Yeah, and Bucks are putting up insane numbers against the Bulls. It's not to any fault of any one Bull. It's because of Milwaukee's straight domination through this. I think the general consensus in Chicago was, well, hopefully we don't get swept.
Do you, after game 1, do you think the Bucks are serious contenders again for repeating?
Oh yeah, 100%. They're definitely to be feared out of anyone in this conference. I mean,
Your thoughts?
I just think DeRozan, if he wants to be an all-star, needs to step up.
Yeah, but for the Bucks.
Bucks are unreal just because he's honest.
Like, if Giannis is playing the way he's playing and his 3-point shooting just continues to go in like a 30% clip, Bucks are unstoppable.
yeah. Speaking of 30%, oh man, we're seeing some terrible percentages in baseball right now. Arizona, oh my gosh.
Oh, Arizona is like, it's kind of sad. Like,
They're one of the best farm teams in the MLB. We'll call them that.
like they're basically a farm league team. Like it's weird how baseball just works. It's always been this way. Like
It's disappointing.
you have a payroll of like $300 million for the Dodgers, and then like a payroll of like $30 million for the Diamondbacks. Like it's just weird. It's weird. Like there's no cap and everything like that. And
Yeah, but it just makes certain divisions and conferences just so unappealing. You know?
Yeah, it does. But the AL East has some really good contenders.
Oh, Yankees in Toronto for sure.
Yankees, Toronto, but you forgot about the Red Sox and you forgot about the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah. Great team. All great teams.
So that's the interesting division on the AL side, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
The
100%.
NL side is the NL West.
Oh,
You
yes.
got the Rockies.
Dodgers, Padres, Rockies.
Like, Giants, too. It's a very good... Now...
I can't see San Fran shaping up to have a standout season, but definitely a solid one against that competition.
Yeah,
You can't promise much at all.
Now, what we're going to do here on this show is we're going to have a little bit way too early World Series prediction. Each of us are going to have our teams. And
We'll come back to this in October, November, see how they're shaping
see
up.
how it looks, and we'll see. We'll go from there. We're either going to be way wrong or we're going to be right, and you guys cannot argue with anything we ever say again.
Exactly, because we are the goats of predictions.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, Sydney, we'll start with you, our special guest. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with the Padres
Why?
making it. I think once they get Tatis back, they're just gonna be unstoppable.
That's a fair statement. I do think
It's
that
going to be a long season
Shout
without
out
him.
Chris, bye.
I do think that it is going to be a long season without him, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't know how
They
good
do
they
have some
are.
talent, though.
They do have some talent, but come on. Number 2 in the power rankings, right behind the Dodgers.
Yeah.
The Canadian Blue Jays. Yeah, that's my World Series prediction. Way too early. Their lineups up top to bottom's incredible. The only weak spot I would say they have is probably second base. And that's not really a weak spot, I would say. It's not like super weak. It's not any weaker than any other team. But I do think that's, if you're saying that there's a weak spot, 10 games into the team, I would say that's their weak spot. I really think this team is unstoppable.
Yeah. Going back though, they got to face the Yankees.
But
all teams. That's a pretty good powerhouse of a baseball team.
Nah, like when you have a pitcher like Alex Manoah.
You're dogging on the Yankees?
Yeah, the Yankees are dog shit, man. They've been dog shit ever since they won the World Series back in 2009.
They've been that bad for 13? No way.
They lose it every year. They suck.
They're still a great team during the regular season and into a hefty postseason.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'll give you the pitching is bad this year for Yankees, but the defensive play.
$330-some million for giving up a bunch of runs. Not looking too good. I don't know. The Yankees are good.
They're
Blue Jays are bad.
Yeah. You can always kind of lean on the Yankees, though. That's why they're like, your Patriots 3 years ago. Always leaning on them. Anyway, Dodgers, all the way. That's who I'm thinking on.
Dodgers,
they're winning this World Series.
I mean, Freddie Freeman
made some great offseason moves.
Freddie Freeman it's just unfair. Best way to put it.
Cheat code.
He hit his first home run of the season actually last night against the Atlanta Braves, his old team. Very interesting. But I do think the Dodgers are really good. I do think they're good, but not as good as the Blue Jays.
They have some competition to face, but...
So we'll see back in November. You say Dodgers, I say Blue Jays, and she says Padres. So we'll see what happens.
Should be good. And on the lighthearted story of baseball, it is the 15-year anniversary of my favorite moment in professional baseball, the pizza slice toss. Folks, if you don't remember, 15 years ago, there was a foul out. I forget who the Red Sox were playing, but there was a foul ball, and a fan knocks it out of the Red Sox. Left fielder or third baseman. Anyway, a fan, in retaliation to the Red Sox missing it out because of this fan, tosses a pizza slice down 4 rows, hits the fan square in the shoulder, and one of the best calls in sports broadcasting. And here comes the pizza! 15 years ago today, folks. So, my dear TV broadcasting moment is getting old today.
Well, other than that, we don't really have to turn it to anyone because this person's sitting right here.
Yeah.
If you want to talk.
I was just going to say, guys, we want to name the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is up for discussion here.
Me and Justin went to good old Bridgewater and shut up Thatcher and Scott Arnberg. They came up with a good idea. We want to name this space.
Yeah, fire off in the comments. My vote is the Thunderdome. I think that's just goated.
The Den is also a second option right now. We're just thinking, spitballing ideas.
The Den makes me feel about 85 years old, though. So,
welcome to the Den. But anyway, we're just the Waterboyz. I don't know what else.
The pool house?
The pool house. Ooh.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, what pool?
I don't know. Just making a play.
That's not a bad idea.
That is a good idea. Yeah.
But other than that, we'll go to now our interview special with Sydney Lyndon. Welcome back. Today we have a special guest on the podcast for episode 17, Sydney Lyndon of the UPEI women's hockey team. And actually, my girlfriend. And on top of that, her third duty is the person behind the cameras. So, welcome to the show. You've already been here, I don't know how many episodes, so
The majority of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in the less stressful part behind the camera.
Yeah. Production assistant /
Yeah.
hockey player /
That's what we'll call you.
support staff.
Sports staff, kinesiology student.
Yeah.
You could add like production staff to your resume.
Yeah. PA.
Definitely won't.
Okay. Ouch. Well, 4th season as a Panther is in the books.
Yeah.
Don't want to call it a disappointing season because there were still some highlights there.
Yeah.
Talk us through the last season.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. That being said, like, second year was crazy, right? Like, second year we had a really, really good team. We were ranked nationally. So, I guess after COVID and coming back from that, it's kind of really hard to live up to in that 4th season a little bit. But it was a lot of fun. We had great success. At one point, like, we beat St. Mary's and UNB, who were both nationally ranked. That was right before Christmas. And then the second half, we just didn't get going like I think we expected to, which is unfortunate. I don't think that, like, when we came back in January, COVID happened and PI got shut down, including gyms, rinks, everything. So that made it kind of tough when we got back into the season. A lot of our girls got COVID too during that time, right? Mm-hmm. So coming back after COVID, after not training for a month, really kind of kicks you in the butt, and it's hard to get your groove going again. But, you know, we should have beat St. Thomas in playoffs. Unfortunate that we didn't. It was a single game elimination. And then Nationals was a blast. I know we lost to Concordia, but see the same on the men's side. Acadia lost to Alberta 7-0, so you know.
Yeah.
But we got our first win ever at Nationals against Brock, so that's a positive. And you know, the UBC game, the score looked bad, but we'd like to have a run at them again. It was an intense game, and I think a lot of it, by the end of it, we're like, we're done. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah. So, grew up just outside of Ottawa.
Yeah.
When did hockey start for you?
Major Pee-wee.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how old that is.
Yeah, but you started out before that.
Well, he said hockey. Yeah. I was going to get there. So it's only like my 10th season of hockey, but before that I played Ringette. So I grew up playing Ringette. I'm an only child, so my parents put me in girl sports, hoping that I would, you know, make friends, and I loved it. I fell in love. I always loved skating. I remember going to the outdoor rink with my parents and them teaching me how to skate, and I loved skating like my whole life. So.
Do you find a lot of your teammates started out in Ringette or started out in hockey?
No, a lot of them did start out in hockey, actually, boys hockey. I wish I had been more ballsy, I guess, as a little kid to play boys. I think could have been a lot better than I am now.
You think?
Yeah, 100%.
So, you played Ringette. Now, how does that translate to your hockey game?
I was already a really good skater. Ringette is very skating based. Mm-hmm. I can remember doing power skating. Actually, like, funnily enough, I loved my power skating coach. I got like an award through like a figure skating thing for like most dedicated like player or something like that. But yeah, so my skating when I came in was really, really good. And like I said, I played a year of house league and competitive Ringette, like house league hockey, competitive Ringette, and then went the other way. Went to competitive hockey, like made the highest level team, PEI, and played. Actually, didn't even fully play Ringette. I had a really bad injury, but I still, when I was coming back from that injury, there wasn't like we were on like a hockey break, so I went and played actually at provincials and for Ringette to kind of like get me back in. But the puck handling part was definitely the hardest part.
Yeah. Besides puck handling, what else was a big adjustment for you?
Oh, the whole, like, Ringette, you have lines, right? Like, you have a blue line and a Ringette line, and only 3 people are allowed below the Ringette line. You have to pass over every blue line. Like, just the whole concept that I could technically take the puck from one end to the other end was, like, something that really, like, blew my mind.
Did you ever take that opportunity early?
Actually,
going coast to coast?
100%. My house league hockey, I think there's a video. Someone has a video, and people called me Red Pants because I was so fast. So, like, by the end of, like, the hockey, like, house league hockey season, everyone knew Red Pants was the one to watch because my dad got me these fire red pants, and my first goal ever was literally picking it up behind the net and skating all the way down. I don't even know I put it in the net.
Yeah. So how many different teams did you play on before coming to UPEI?
I always played at home for the Canada Rangers.
Okay.
So, and then I made the PWHL, which is like the Provincial Women's Hockey League, for the Ottawa Lady Sens. So actually, as time has gone on, like a lot of the teams you'll see, like our AA teams are the Sens for like the Canada Rangers. So I'm still within the same organization. I stayed within the same organization the whole time.
Yeah. And speaking of Senators, your favorite team is the Ottawa Senators.
Absolutely not.
But you don't have a favorite team,
Yeah, I
really.
don't
You
have a
just
favorite
love the
team.
sport.
I love Matt Barzal. He has
Yeah.
my heart. He just got fined, actually, which is kind of funny.
Ooh. That's fine.
But no, the Ottawa Senators are not my favorite team. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm not loyal like that. That's what I say. Like, why watch one team? Like, the Sens used to be so good, and now they're like back in the day with like not back in the day, but like when they had Method and Carlson, like they lost to Pittsburgh when Pittsburgh won, I think in like 2017. And then after that, they sucked. So why would I spend my time watching bad hockey?
Yeah, and it is odd as a hockey player to not have a favorite NHL team or a favorite team in general.
I've like bounced around. I used to really like Brent Burns. I actually have like a sign.
Yeah.
I loved him so much, and my dad got me like a shirt for Christmas. And during like through Lady Sens, one of my teammates, her mom's brother actually worked for the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah.
So he actually got a signed Brent Burns stick, and my parents won like the bidding on that for me. So like I've bounced around here and there. Like right now, I love Matt Barzal, but maybe in like 5 years, I'll be like, yeah, he sucks.
Bedard will be good.
Yeah.
So you played at Lady Sens, and then we talked about it a little bit about your recruiting to UPEI, but can you go more into depth about how it actually worked? And I know you had a D1 offer, so can you tell us about that too?
When I was in grade 10, I had 2 D1 offers. Unfortunately, I didn't take those. My fault. I knew that like I'm a woman. After hockey, I need to have an education. I have to actually go work. So I was only in grade 10. By that time, we're still like taking bio as a general subject. We're not into like the chemistry, the physics, the biology, and I didn't know I knew I was good at those courses. I didn't know if I actually had a passion for those or whatnot. So I kind of held off, and because of just myself, like communication ended between those 2 schools.
And what were the schools?
University of Maine.
Yeah.
And RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnical Institute. They were called the RPI engineers.
Yeah.
Like that's their name, and I don't want to be an engineer. Like so the whole fact they were called the engineers, I was like, I don't want to be an engineer. Like why would I go to a school? But like they had a very good science program. Anyways, and then that's because I got those offers probably because I was like I was the young one, and technically the PW is like a U21 league, and I was in grade 10. Like what's that? 15? Mm-hmm. And then unfortunately, we didn't have the best luck. We kind of sucked the next year, my grade 11 year, and when you're not doing well, you don't see the scouts coming up to watch because it's not good hockey to watch. So I got to grade 12, and I had some help from my coach and from another like recruiting agency that I am close with, Endeavor, and I explored D3. I talked to some D1 coaches, but no full offers, and I just financially couldn't go to the States without getting a full ride, right? So I was getting down. I talked to some Canadian schools, but nothing like really stuck there. And then I was getting, my grade 12 year, I should say, we did all really, really good, really, really well. Like on paper, we weren't supposed to be the best team, and actually it was my first time making it through first round of playoffs. So we were doing pretty good, and I don't know if I should share this, but the St. FX recruiter reached out to my head coach, and said, UPEI is looking for a defense. Would you please pass this on to Sydney Lyndon? Mm-hmm. And I had spoken to him, again, I think when I was in grade 10, a lot younger, and kind of like the email came out of the blue. And at that time, it was pretty late in the season. It was like February, March, and a lot of my teammates had already recruited, and I was kind of like trying to come to terms, like, maybe this will be my last year of hockey. Like, and one day I was just like, no, like, it can't be. So I reached out to Bruce, and it was probably one of the most honest conversations today that I've ever had. I told him, if this is it, Bruce, I want to go out with a bang. Like, I love hockey. Anyways, timing worked out really well. The Western University was hosting nationals, I believe, in London, Ontario. And first round of playoffs, we got matched up against the London Devlettes. So our 2 first games, because they were they ranked higher than us? Maybe not, I don't remember. But we're in London. Mm-hmm. And so Bruce was there. Bruce told me he was coming to the second game of that weekend. I think we played a 5-game series in PW, as opposed to AUS here where we play a 3-game series. Anyways, Bruce told me he was going to be at the second game, not knowing he was at the first game. We lost our first game. The second game, I knew he was there, but I still kind of just played me. But we were down like 1 or 2-0 going into the third. I scored, and I assisted on like a delayed penalty. And then I was matched up actually against, I think she's plays for like U18 Team Canada now, maybe at Gosling. I was matched up against her, and we won in a shootout. And so I pretty much walked out of that rink with, London's really close to where my family is, like my parents' parents. So they were at that game too, and Bruce was sitting at a table with my dad's parents and my family, and I pretty much sat down and he's like, we want you. And he flew me out for a visit. And now here I am.
Were there any other schools? You said why you didn't want to go to Polytechnic and be an engineer, but were you hoping for any schools in particular?
Not really. I did talk with Laurentian, although I'm happy I didn't go there since their team folded due to like financial issues, but that was about it. I did have like some interest from Brock, but like again, that was in grade 10. Like, I don't know, I never really had a school where I was like, I want to go there. It was more like I could kind of like feel at the place and was like, Western like wasn't really like a school for me, for example.
So you get to PEI, you get through the adjustments, and you play your first year. How was that? First
year was interesting. I came off shoulder surgery. So in April 2018, I had shoulder surgery. I tore my labrum.
How did you do that?
How did I do that? Honestly, I can't even remember. I think, like I said, it happened in my first year at PW, and I kind of like hit a girl, and my shoulder like popped out, and I didn't know what to think of it. It really hurt, but I like kept playing, and then it just kind of continuously like happened. Like it got to the point where one of my last games against Oakville, my shoulder popped out in the middle of the ice, and my D partner was like coming D to me, and I was like trying to like wrench my shoulder back in, and I walk out after, unfortunately we lost, and my dad's like, you popped your shoulder out, didn't you? I'm like, yep, I can barely hold on to the top of my stick. So I had to have shoulder surgery, and it was actually worse when they like went in there. They told me they were only going to do one like hole in the back because they just went in like to do sutures, and they had to do 2 because it was torn more than they thought. So before I committed, I told Bruce that I need to be honest with you, like I have to get shoulder surgery. Like not sure if this will change things. He was great, it didn't. So my first year, I definitely wasn't in the shape or got the training that I should have or could have. But I still did fine. I think the adjustment was a little difficult, and I suffered again like with injury. Like after shoulder surgery, late October, I popped my shoulder out again, and then I had some back issues when I came back from Christmas. So not the ideal season. Like I said, had I been more trained or maybe worked a little harder in the summer, I might have been able to prevent some of those things. But it just helped me with my journey first year moving forward.
Yeah. What highlights from that first year stick around still?
Oh, my first nationals for sure.
Yeah.
And I made some great friends. Actually, I lived across from you.
Yeah, you did.
Or no, I didn't. Sam did. Sorry, Sam lived across from me, and I spent a lot of time with Sam. Trying trying to think what else.
Good old Andrew Hall at UPEI.
Yeah, Andrew Hall, that game against the Residents game.
Yeah. Did you play in that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's right.
That was fun.
I think Bernie and Blanche were like, why is she playing?
Yeah, I was friends with a lot of people in Red, so I just wanted to have a little fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nationals that first year was a great learning for me. Yeah.
So coming into your second year, did you take the training a little bit more seriously, or?
Oh yeah, 100%. I had a lot of like mental issues. I always kind of have. But that year, like being away from home and just some things that like I went through, suffering with injury, I needed to kind of get myself in check, and I realized that. So I went home and I actually, through the help of someone through Endeavor, like that recruiting company. They're not just a recruiting company, like they do like training it too.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to find a nutritionist that I still work with today. I don't even remember what my body fat percentage like went from, but I started almost at like 26, maybe more than that, and got down to maybe about 18 by the end of the summer. And then I also...
You mean the second summer, right? Or do you just mean in general?
I just mean, I don't know, I don't even remember. I think that was the first summer.
Okay.
I don't, like I said, it's all a blur. But then I also, like, with Endeavor, got on the ice, got a lot of D training, and I was actually shocked when I got on. Like, I was one of the older people on with younger kids, and, like, I struggled. Like, I literally remember one day driving home from the rink, like, crying, being like, Mom, this is gonna be a hard summer. Like, get ready for a lot of tears, because I'm not anywhere near where I need to be. So I kind of just kept grinding, got more ice, and grinded out in the gym. Took it a lot more seriously. In the past, I've hated running, started running more, working out harder, eating right, and yeah, I came into the next season a whole different player, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So after second season, COVID hits you.
COVID hit.
Speaking of a blur, it's
That was a long year. Long year.
Yeah.
You would think that with COVID, like, it wouldn't be that bad. Honestly, I think it was worse.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you're in the mode of, like, school and hockey, you just kind of, like, as a student athlete, sometimes you look back on it and you're like, how did I do that? And that's definitely how I felt during COVID.
Yeah.
Because we were training, playing games against 15-year-old boys who were kicking our butt.
and before that, the way the COVID break started was just eerie looking back on it. You were at Nationals.
We were at Nationals.
Again, here on PEI. And it was the second day of Nationals, I want to say.
After the first two games got played, Thursday, Hockey Canada said, no more.
That night, everyone went back to their hotel rooms, and we went back to our dorm rooms here, and it was just...
Everyone was here, and
done.
like I said this earlier, but second year, we had a crazy year. And we were like, this is our chance at Nationals. And we got pushed to the Friday game, so the whole island could come watch, and then... Thursday.
Never happened.
Never happened.
Yeah. Took the wind out of you. And
Oh
then,
my gosh.
as you said, you're playing against U15.
And then we go to play like
The Island Express for a whole season, Brad.
Yeah.
And the Mount.
Yeah, and the Mount.
So we were like we're adjusting to this online school, playing like these like games. Some people just like decided to go home, you know, like you're in lockdown. It's no fun at all.
Mm-hmm.
Training alone is hard to do, right? Because you have to be in smaller groups. Actually, I don't even know if gyms were allowed to be open at that point. Like,
That's so long ago, I can't remember.
right?
Yeah. Gyms were shut down for like 2 months.
Yeah, it was a long year. It was a really long year.
So did you stay in shape, you think, at that
Oh,
point?
heck no. It's
No?
so hard. It's so hard to. I mean, just all of us, we definitely didn't. There was a lot more partying that happened, you know. Student athletes, we don't get to party every weekend. We definitely used that COVID to our advantage, you know, just hanging out with the team and the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But coming back for your fourth year, there was still a little bit of speculation if you guys were going to get a full season, and especially when the COVID break happened.
Yeah.
But do you think you were mentally prepared for coming into this year and physically prepared after the COVID break?
Yeah, 100%. I worked my butt off this like summer before this last year. I got on the ice way more, and it wasn't like before. I was getting on the ice with like girls younger than me, and like I still kind of was. But this year, I got out with. I got really fortunate because university players are considered like semi-professional.
Yeah.
So I was able to get on the ice with like a group of D1 hockey players before kind of like everyone else did before they opened up hockey to like recreational and everything like that. So like in the past I used to like train like a D. I would just like do D, like specific camps, and then get on the ice to do like some skill stuff. This time I went through a different company, but still through Endeavor. Like that's how I got the link. Endeavor said they were working with amps, so then I was like, well, I guess I'll go with there. And I was actually the only defense training amongst like girls who, again, a little younger than me, but still in D1 hockey, forwards. So I really got to like work on my skill, which really, really paid off. And I got to stick around. The D1 girls go back a little earlier than us. I got to stick around, and then through like near the end of the summer, great coaching there. Like we worked on shooting, but the forward group started to become more of a D group, so they would adjust their training like accordingly, and that really, really paid off. And eating wise, I had a tough summer with my nutritionist. I didn't make the gains I had expected. However, I did, like at the end, like there's a 2-week period where I went to see him, and I kind of met my goal. I don't remember what I got down to, but it was an exciting moment for me, like seeing those pictures. And just my training again started a little rough, like with COVID. I felt very like burnt out and everything. But I have great trainers, Aaron, Sam, out at FICWest. Well, Aaron isn't anymore, but Sam out at FICWest. And we did a lot of like communicating, and I've been with them training for years now, like since I was grade 9, 10, maybe lower, like less than, like younger than that. So the communication was like really open. So when I felt burnt out, I made the right adjustments, but I was eating right, so it didn't hurt me in any way.
Yeah. And what other coaches did you have on the ice through those training sessions back home?
Oh, I can't even remember all of them. Charlie, we had Charlie a lot. He's fun. Charlie I like worked on a lot of the skill with. I forget his name, but there was one guy in particular where Charlie was like a skill guy, like we'd work on our hands, but the other guy, he would really help us like with our shooting form.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who I actually posted some videos like on my Instagram page who like took those videos. So it's like we do like some skill, but then we'd work on our shooting, and we even like talked about flex and everything like that too. Yeah. But my job in the summer like really helps me. I got fortunate enough that I get to work for the Ottawa Sens hockey camps as just an on-ice coach. So I get to train with, or I get to coach kids and work with some guys who are out at like D3 or in juniors and stuff, and actually they like help me too.
So there is a little back and forth there at those camps, you know? You're training and they're training you?
No, like it's just like hockey talk, right?
Yeah.
Or because of COVID, we had to do really, really small groups. Like sometimes we'd have 2 kids on like a full pad of ice. So we'd use that as like a chance to like have fun with the kids too, and just like talk. And you know, like it's when you're coaching, you see different tips that other people give to like others, right? Yeah. And you kind of you pick up on those to help others, but you're like, I never thought of it that way. Like maybe I should. Yeah. And then actually shout out Shane who fixed my one-timer.
Shane who?
I don't remember, but he worked for Endeavor. I've trained with Shane since I was like young, and I always give him a hard time. He's super quiet, and near the end we were working on our one-timers, and I've always struggled with one-timers. And when he gave me like a cue to like reach for the puck, and the second he did that, it was like a whole new shot, and I actually gave him a hug, and he just like stood there. I was like, "Thank you, Shane," and he's like.
I was gonna say, so your first 3 years, you had maybe your best season was like 2 points.
Probably, I scored my first goal in second year.
Yeah, so like you only had like 2 points. Now this year, you had a breakout year. You got 4 goals and 8 assists. Tallying for 12 points, and you had a +7 rating. Now, what do you think the key was to seeing the ice better and being more dominant this year?
I mean, getting bigger, faster, stronger in the gym never hurts. And I think in a way, like, I was definitely led up to that. Like, I came in first year and had I not suffered with injury, pretty much played most of the games. Again, second year, played most of my games. You know, so it wasn't like I was in the stands, like, watching, right? I got to, like, be firsthand playing. And I think a confidence thing. Like, by the time you're in fourth year, you're like, I'm big dog now. Like, not, like, I know that's a silly, like, way to think of it, but I know I worked hard to be there. So I just now was like, I just got to prove, and I keep up with like the D1 girls that I train with at home. Like that's definitely a confidence booster. Like even though, like some of those girls have gone to like U18 camp, I never got that like opportunity. I was never good enough. But like sometimes in the summer, there's like you don't see like what happens in those training sessions. Like there's a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of like comparing. But being able to like do it and see over like time my skill get better and keep up with those girls, definitely like a confidence booster. So I just brought that into this year. I got to play a big role, lots of confidence, and a lot of like experience like with coaching too. Like you kind of when you understand a little more how the coaches like mind marks like when they're like viewing a player, I think that definitely helps you too.
Mm-hmm. Now this year you had 4 goals, and you had one potential goal of the year, which we'll talk about. You went to coast to coast against Mount A. What was going through your mind on that one?
Honestly, I got the puck. We were not playing well. We were down against Mount A. I was like, we're not losing this. Like, we can't lose this. And I literally just got the puck in our own zone. Looked up, I was like, well, I'm going for a skate, like, let's go. I always, like, find against Mount A, like, I always had a lot of time. Sometimes I would overdo it with, like, trying to be too fancy. This time I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna keep the puck on my stick. And yeah, it was just, I still don't think it's a great goal. I think my goal against St. FX, like, when the one game we beat St. FX, like, at the point when I dangled.
Yeah.
That's my, like, highlight reel goal. Going coast to coast against Mount A. I don't know how much of a feat that is, but it's still pretty cool in AUS hockey.
Yeah, for sure. And you bring up the fact that you guys were losing to Mount A. This is one thing that I found watching you guys this year. You guys struggled with. Couldn't beat the lower ranked teams. You guys struggled with them, and then it was like you played to their level, and then when you played against, say, St. FX, UMB, or St. Mary's.
Yeah.
You would play to their level, and you guys would actually play decent and good.
He can say this because he was at every game, home game.
So why is it that you guys really struggled?
I honestly think it's just a mental block. Like I think each of us individually know, like just when we talk, we're like, we need to play our hockey. We need to play UPEI hockey, and then we never do. Like I to be fair, it's been a trend my whole 3-4 years. Yeah. 4 years at UPEI.
We'll call it 3.5.
Yeah, we'll call it 3.5.
3.5 minutes.
Yeah, like it's been a trend, and I think just as a team, as a group, it's a mental block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's fair to say.
That's the only thing that can, like I said, like we know we can compete against St. Mary's. We know we can compete against St. FX. We know we can compete against UMB. And then when it comes to playing like a team like Mount A or Dow, like we just don't perform as well. It's just something mental for us.
So there's the problem. What's the fix?
What about practice?
Practices during the week just have to be intense. And you just have to play to like, you practice like you play, right? I'm very much someone who's of the mentality if you practice harder than like a game, the game should be easy. So I think it goes down to practices have to be tough every day. And that's really tough as a student athlete. Day to day, not going into practice knowing shit, I'm gonna have a tough day, but it'll pay off.
Yeah. So as a fourth year, what first year did you take under your wing, kind of, talk through practice and work with?
Like at the start of the year, I always am like one of the people who like try to make my teammates like feel acclimated, like and everything. I wouldn't say this year I took anyone like under my wing. I don't feel like I ever fully like do. I feel like I'm definitely more someone though who just like leads by example. And when I feel like someone's like looking for like some input, like I'll be the first to like, hey, like pat like a rookie on the pat. I remember as a rookie, like the best praise I could have gotten was like when my teammate like patted me on the shin pads and was like, nice play or nice pass.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like more so what I tried to do. But sometimes I can be a little bossy and just like kind of like let them know like the things that I learned, like I guess about the game, and I wish I had known in first year.
But you did have a new D partner this year, and she played with Stephanie this year. You guys played really well together, and what do you think you gave her? Did you give her advice during the season, or like did you guys just work well together? Like what was the relationship there?
Yeah, we work really, really well together. Steph is someone that's always like so smiley, so happy. So I think that really like complemented my personality too. Like
when you're mad, grumpy.
when I'm very hard on myself, or I do get a little grumpy sometimes. So Steph's like that was definitely great at just like from an older like or a fourth year standpoint, like pulling me back and saying like, no, like you're playing great, like you're having fun. But I also really felt like our communication just like together was awesome. Like I could like let her know what I saw, or she could let me know what she saw, or Steph just needs like Steph's a phenomenal player. She just needs like the confidence. So I definitely think that my role for her was being like, stop it, like you're freaking killing it, like. And it was kind of fun. Like as the games like went on, sometimes when we would go on and I wouldn't even touch the puck, and Steph would just be there like dangling or making these awesome passes. So I think that having a D partner that she like was crazy supportive of me and I was crazy supportive of her like really worked for our partnership and our relationship.
Yeah. So COVID wasn't done yet. In
No.
your last year even. You got a really long winter break there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you stay in touch with her over winter break?
Well, we
keep
lived
working?
together.
Yeah.
We lived together, so yes, pretty much everyone came back. I think we were all hoping that COVID wouldn't shut us down, and everything. And then we like I said, she's a great person. So she's super easy to get along with, always happy. So she's super easy to talk to, and I definitely think that helped.
Yeah. How did that second half feel as a team?
Weird.
Yeah.
We never got back to the high we were at before Christmas. I think part of that is a lot of our team came down with COVID, so we were never really our full playing unit.
Yeah.
A lot of people were in and out of the lineup, which is great for them, but I think that just makes it really hard as a team who's trying to, like the first time we played with our full lineup was it against Sioux in the first round.
Yeah.
And so that's that's really tough.
Yeah.
And obviously, tough game against there. We've dug a dagger in enough there, poured enough salt in that one. If you want to find out about the Stu game, just go back to the last UPEI women's hockey episode.
Yeah.
But on the bright side, going into your last nationals. Well, don't want to say last.
Yeah.
But going into nationals once more. How was that?
Super exciting, super fun. I was really excited for my parents to come. That was definitely a hype factor for me. But yeah, just really exciting. Fun to watch like teams like Concordia or even Saskatchewan, really young team, and to see how they play, see how we compare. But winning our first nationals game, best high ever. Like nothing could have beat that for us. Tough loss against Concordia, but I personally found them very fun to watch. Like not just on the ice, but on the bench. Like being coached by two Olympians, gotta be a cool environment to be part of.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where we're gonna go next. Just your future. We know that you're not coming back, but what is the future plans for you? And do you plan on playing again?
Oh yeah, I'm not done playing yet. Only 21. I got a lot of play left in me. I've seen myself grow a lot these past 4 years, and I just want to keep growing. I'm definitely a student of the game, and I love playing. I love competing. But after that, I've touched on it a little bit. Love to coach. I'm gonna keep working on getting some coaching certifications. Hopefully, stay involved with girls hockey. Would love to even dab my feet in some boys hockey, just to compare those environments. I think as a coach, you'll have to have experience with both genders, like every level, because it's just progression. Player development is always involved. You just have to understand how to develop each kid at a different level. So I'd love to get into coaching the game. I love the game. Like, again, student of the game, but I love the strategy of it too.
She thinks hockey 24/7, so there's not much else to say there.
Well, but thanks for coming on, and congratulations on an esteemed career, Justin. Take us out.
Thank you for listening to the Waterboyz podcast, episode 17. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. You can follow along on Instagram, and you can follow along on the new page, Waterboyz_media. We're covering sporting events. All we need you to do is let us know where the sporting events are, and we'll be there to cover them for you. Other than that, we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And after this week, we unfortunately will not have these beautiful looking cameras that I'm staring at right now.
We get one iPhone 13.
Yes, his iPhone 13 will be recording these until September.
Subtle flex.
Until September. Unfortunately, these are the school's cameras, so we have been fortunate enough to use them for 17 episodes.
Shout out to Holland College
for letting us use them. But as it's the end of the school year, we have to return them. So this is the Waterboyz podcast, unscripted, unfilmed. Grant, send them out.
Yes, sir.